Great.
It's finding a Christmas tree. The second thing at Christmas that's such a pain to me.
Rigging up the lights
and finding a Christmas tree. The third thing at Christmas that's such a pain to me.
Hangovers. Rigging up the lights
and finding a Christmas tree. The fourth thing at Christmas that's such a pain to me.
Sending Christmas cards. Hangovers. Rigging up the lights
and finding a Christmas tree. The fifth thing at Christmas that's such a pain to me. 5 months of bills.
Sending Christmas cards. Hangovers. Rigging up the lights
and finding a Christmas tree. The sixth thing at Christmas.
All right, that was such a fun way to kick off a very special 12 days of TMC version of the rundown. Okay, so we obviously, that whole song was about, like, you know, the pains of Christmas and all the kind of challenges that that people sometimes have this time of year in a very, very funny way. But so I thought we could take a little bit of a different approach to our rundown today, knowing that it's a special rundown anyways, because we have you know, this as a part of our 12 days of TMC conference, but thought we could take a little bit of a special spin on this. And instead of talking about kind of the 12 days of, or the 12 kind of pains of Christmas, we'll talk about the 12 ways to do more in 2024. And y'all get a chance to hear from our special guest today, Terry Aiken, who is the VP Managing Director for the Central Southeast region at MGIC. Terry, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And as always, joined by Rob Chrisman, who looked utterly annoyed at the fact that we had Christmas music playing.
It brought back memories of my, like, I think I had a record player when I was 6 or 7 years old, and you know, you put the needle on some scratchy record. It's just, I went right back there in my head.
All trouble, no bass. Yeah, right.
little PTSD from the record days.
Right, my hi-fi.
It's fantastic. Does everybody know what a record player is?
Whoa. Oh. All right.
All right. I'll get us started with the 12 things or 12 ways to do more in 2024 without giving Rob a hard time. I actually did have a record player growing up, so I completely know what that is.
That said, not to give myself a shameless promotion for tomorrow's commentary, but you will find the lead paragraph interesting when you talk about age of people and old things. Check out tomorrow's opening paragraph.
All right, we get a little bit of a preview for the commentary tomorrow. I love it. We don't normally get that. I feel very special.
Yeah, well, I give what I can.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. Again, we're going to talk about the 12 ways to do more in 2024. The first way to do more in 2024 has to do with your personal health and investing in your personal health. And for that, I'll kind of kick that over to Terry to share with us some of his ideas on things that you could do in 2024 to do more.
As I think about it, and thank you again, as I think about ways to improve oneself, right? We have to take care of ourselves so that everything else falls in place. Because we can have an incredible business plan, prosperous plan. We can even have a great deal of success in carrying off the plan. But if we don't have our personal health, be it either physical health or mental health, struggles are sure to follow. So personal health has to be paramount. And as every New Year's resolution begins, personal health or diet always seems like it's in the top 5, right? And then it seems like we get the new gym membership and we're really motivated to get up at 5:30 in the morning, get to the gym at 6:30 so we can be on our first Zoom call at 8 o'clock. Whatever it is, it's all about commitment. And if it's whatever inspiration you're going to have about personal health, it has to be powerful and meaningful to you. So if it's lowering cholesterol, lowering your blood pressure, losing a couple of pounds, whatever it is, just stay committed and get after it. And it has to be very personal, but the long-term gains are significant.
I like it. All right, Terry.
If one were to ask my mom about what did she do for her personal health, she would say one word: prunes.
Prunes. Wow, I don't need to know the second word.
Prunes.
Yeah, I get it. I think, for me, it's about, for me, it's about getting up early and starting the day right. I'm trying to get off the prune thing right now, but I think it's about, getting up early, getting after it, staying committed. Certainly, exercise reduces stress. Everyone knows what we need to be doing. It's a matter of staying committed.
I love it. All right, one more way to do more in 2024 is one that you're very familiar with, Rob, and that's starting early, although I'm not sure it's necessarily just in reference to starting your day as early as you start your day, but probably starting early on projects and goals as well. But I'll let you take it up. However you want
Well,
to.
yeah, I'm an odd duck when it comes to that, as you know, Melissa. So I'm on the West Coast, so I'm up at 4 a.m. And that habit came, actually, I was thinking about it this morning about how I started getting up early. I used to have a paper route back when people had paper routes. And then my summer job, several of my summers were spent working in a cannery in San Jose. And so you get there early just because the cannery work starts early. But I always found that I was more alert in the morning. And when I would go to school, you go to college, and then, you're studying for finals or whatever, it was just easier for me to get up early and study before other people got up. But that's not to say you have to get up that early every day, for goodness sake. But the fact of the matter is, I don't mind going to bed early, relatively early, like around 8 or 9, because I am going to get up at 4 a.m. But I find that I can get just a lot more done. But obviously some people aren't. Some people are not morning people at all, and
Right.
they prefer to sleep in till 9 or 10 or 11. And, I mean, that's that. I mean, after a while, I think you get used to your personal rhythm, and if you're a morning person or a night person and what time you like getting up. But yeah, I've just always found that I'm done with my workday, the majority of my workday, by 6 a.m. The commentary goes out by 6 a.m. West Coast time, and I'm kind of done for a bit. And so, sure, I mean, I work sporadically throughout the remainder of the day, but it's nice. It's nice getting up, getting that done. And I like to think, hey, maybe I've done more than a lot of people are going to do the rest of the day, and I've done it by 6 a.m. So I like that feeling. I like that feeling.
I love it. I'm also an early bird. I also go to bed at like 8 or 9 p.m. It depends on the night, but I like to wake up early. My brain works a lot better in the morning, but not everybody, like you said, it functions like that.
Right. It doesn't make me much fun at conferences when I slink off to bed at 8 or 9 or 10, and people are up until 1 or 2 or 3. But I'll take it.
Yeah,
I can relate. All right, our third thing I'm actually going to take and talk about, and that's really writing down your goals for the year, and putting them in a place that is someplace that you see on a regular basis. But so there's two components to this. One is just taking the time to be intentional about writing down what's important to you. And Rob, as you know, you witness this every week. I'm an extreme planner. I try to, all the little details that go into events, or things that we do, I try to kind of plan out. And, I think that goes into both my personal and professional lives as well, but writing them down and then having them in a place that's visible to you on a regular basis to remind you what your goals are and what your kind of what you should be doing in order to achieve those can go a long ways.
Melissa, do you separate goals, personal goals and professional goals?
In some cases I do. There are we all work remote. A lot of our industry works remote right now, and personal and professional lives tend to kind of meld together. But I also am a fan of like wherever you're at, being all in what you're doing. And so when I think about kind of the two, like my day doesn't stop, right? The goals throughout the day are the goals throughout the day. It just might be that my goal for that day is to attend my kid's orchestra concert, and plan for our next big event, or whatever the case may be. But so I kind of see them. I put them in the same place a lot of the times because my day and time are melding together like a lot of people's are.
I do the same thing. I have six goals, and I leave them on an index card. And so, to your point, you said you want to keep them close. Love the idea. It's a great casual reminder. Do you review your goals a couple times a year, or is it just because it's in front of you, you know what they are, and you're always kind of focused on that? How do you do that?
I actually have them. They're literally right here. I have a little like cork board that's beside on one of my. I have like a screen up on this side and a cork board up on the other, so it literally stares at me all day long.
How about that?
So, Melissa, have you ever? You don't have to tell us if you don't want to. It's a very personal question I'm about to ask you.
Uh-oh.
Have you ever written something down on a to-do list that you've already done just so you can cross it off?
No.
I
There
have.
really is a sense of satisfaction with accomplishment, not necessarily. I don't know. That seems so foreign to me. I wouldn't have even thought of doing that. Is that a normal thing?
Probably not. It's probably a sign of early onset dementia that I have.
Or wanting
We're
to
getting lots of people in the chat that do this. Apparently, I guess it's very normal.
Oh, yeah.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
That's fantastic. All right. I got to keep us moving along, or we're not going to get through all 12. All right. Our fourth way to do more in 2024 is to outwork your competition. Terry, why don't you take this one?
Oh, yeah, it's business personal. I think and for me, very personally, I'm never the smartest person in the world or in the room for sure. But I have this mindset that I will never be outworked. And I think that's just a blue collar background. I just want to go, go, go. If it's on the golf course, if it's in the boardroom, if it's, if it's in sales, if it's working on a separate project, I want to outwork everyone because I can make up for whatever lack of skill or knowledge I have. So I just that's something that I jump all over, and I subscribe to that.
That's fantastic. All right. Our I guess fifth thing now. I'm losing track of my numbers. I'm gonna have to do better. Our fifth thing now, Rob, I'm gonna throw over to you. And it wasn't in the original list, and I know this is shocking to you that I would go off of my list, but it's very much in your space and very relevant to us for 2024 as we think about kind of ways to do more in 2024, specific for mortgage professionals here. What do they need to know about the market that can impact how they are running their business, whether that be, a loan officer running their business or an executive on our call?
So I would say that from what I've seen as I've traveled around the last several months, the the more successful originators or underwriters or processors or CEOs, companies and so forth, they have a very realistic view of what's going on. They aren't hoping for lower interest rates. They aren't hoping their competitor goes out of business. They aren't hoping that suddenly the private label jumbo securities market, will come back. They aren't, they're just doing. They are very pragmatic about their approach to business. So many people in our business have been around since before 2020 and 2021. They realized, I think we all realized during those 2 years, these are unusual times. The business is not always like those 2 years. And so we've settled back into a situation where, volumes have dropped, margins have dropped, and the good originators and the good lenders are saying, yeah, okay, rates are higher, and are you making the phone calls? Are you doing what you need to do to make a living? And I've received a number of emails, for better or for worse, where this is going to sound pretty bougie, but they are from originators. Rob, I was making, I made $800,000 in 2020, and I made $750,000 in 2021, and now I'm only making 150 or 200,000 or 250. And I have to remind them that this is a job. This is an industry. It's a day in and day out thing where we continue to help families, and it's not a high flying. It's not like we're playing Major League Baseball or in the NBA or something. And so it's a job. And so if I had one thing to tell people out there, I would say this is a job, and we help a lot of people, and it can be a grind, but it's also a rewarding grind, and you can earn a decent living, and you don't have to hope for lower rates, and you don't have to hope for a new program. You don't have to hope delinquencies stay low. I mean, you can do things to help yourself, and it's very, very important to keep a realistic outlook on jobs. And it's tough. I know vendors, for example, are getting beat up right and left everywhere for especially in certain segments of the industry, just renegotiating contracts and so forth, and everybody's getting squeezed. But it's just just have to go about your job. So that's not throwing rose petals in anybody's path. I'm just saying, keep a realistic outlook on things.
Yeah, hope is not a strategy, right? For sure. I've heard that a million times. I'm sure you guys have too. Terry, I want to pick your brain a little bit, is particularly in your space, the kind of sales and marketing strategies that you're hearing from your lenders that you talk to all the time. What are some of the things that they're doing to set up themselves for more in 2024?
Rob hit on a few of them. I think the most important thing that I hear is a refocus on their business. Whatever their business model is, they're just recalibrating and focusing on that. They're not ignoring the competition. They're watching, but they're less concerned about the competition, and they're staying focused on their business model, whatever it is. Go all in, own it, right? So if you're, as a loan officer, if you're by referral only, own it. There are some production people that are realtor based only, right? And so you might even scratch your head, if we ever get into a refi market, rates drop a little bit, are they going to ignore the refis? I've talked to some that said, absolutely, yes. I focus and have built my business on the purchase market, and that's where I'm going to stay, because to hope for lower rates is not a strategy. We just covered that. Mm-hmm. And then it's good old fashioned blocking and tackling. If you're in loan production, if you're in underwriting or processing or management, it's staying focused on making your calls, making the appointments, delivering something of value, right? Being a business strategy individual at somewhere along the mortgage manufacturing process. but staying focused. That's what I hear. That's the most common theme.
I'll add to that a little bit. I did a poll, like a live text poll at an event a few years ago, and asked basically builders and realtors what type of mortgage professional they really were looking for. And it was multiple choice. So that, it was fairly simple and a little bit funny. One was the always available. The other was the underwriter brain. The third was the over communicator. And then the fourth was the hide behind the rock, LO. And y'all all know what I'm talking about. The person that as soon as a challenge comes up, they're like, I can't, and you can't reach them. And it doesn't happen. The folks that are in our industry today are incredible professionals, but it's one of those things that I kind of put in for a little bit of a laugh. But it's true. People are looking for real professionals that they can consistently count on, that they can be that can be a real partner to them, and help them to grow their business as well. So all fantastic points. There is, out of the, oh gosh, we're on 7. I got to do a better job of counting. The 7th way to do more in 2024 is to be 2 millimeters better every day. And I'll take this one a little bit. I think, as I've mentioned earlier, I am an Uber planner, but I also am a reflector of what worked and what didn't work. And so literally every day I have a few minutes where I have an opportunity to say, did I accomplish everything I needed to? If not, what do I have on the agenda for tomorrow? And if I didn't accomplish it, what got in my way? And just an opportunity to kind of reflect on the things that are most impactful for you and your business, so that you can kind of make those daily improvements. I think are really, really important.
Yeah, relentless forward progress, always becoming a little better. There's a bunch of people that know my background as an Ironman finisher, and I always wanted to finish the last leg of the Ironman in under 4 hours, and I could calculate what I needed to do, and my training always led up to something. And in the middle of, it's usually near the end, the 18-mile mark of a marathon, you begin to have self-doubt, but you just have to continue to put one foot forward and then put the next foot. It's relentless forward progress, and you will become better. And I've personally taken that on and just want to be 2 millimeters better every day. So I love that was a top one for you, Melissa.
I think, gosh, your like Ironman background is pretty impressive, Terry. There's, the 8th way to do more in 2024 really has to do with personal growth. And I know obviously your Ironman journey probably has a lot to play with that, but would love to just have you share some of the things that you're doing to set yourself up for success in 2024.
Sure. Well, I'm active in the MBA. I'm active in the CMB Society as a former CMB Society chair. I'm active outside of work in a nonprofit organization that helps kids get into sports, in particular golf and tennis. So I think those, for me, it's the well-rounded activities that relieve some of the stress at work, but it powers me through the day. It excites me. So I think it's just having, again, a personal growth mindset, taking care of what needs to be taken care of, but having some things outside that outside of work, because sometimes it's hard from time to time, as we all have mentioned, but it's doing things outside of work that help excite me at work.
Well, we have 3 more ways to do more in 2024 left. And so I'll kind of kick it over to Rob, particularly for the mortgage space that you're in. I mean, obviously the Stratmore Group does a ton of consulting and M&A work. Would love to just kind of pick your brain on some of the things that you're seeing in the broader scheme that can be impactful to our audience.
So interestingly enough, when you talk about, say, the Stratmore Group has certain components that make up, quote, the Stratmore Group. It's just not, it's a one-dimensional kind of consulting company. So you've got this M&A practice. Well, the M&A practice, for example, is in fuego right now in terms of deals. In fact, one of them was just announced this week with Thrive and Lower. And Stratmore was involved in representing Lower. And when you talk to Garth and David and Sarah at the Stratmore Group, I mean, they're very, very busy because there's typically an imbalance of buyers and sellers, which, and buyers and sellers make a market. But right now, they're seeing more sellers, for example, and fewer buyers. The buyers are tending to say, well, they're going to go out of business soon enough anyway. I don't have to step in there and buy them. Or what is it that I'm buying? But the Stratmore is seeing still a lot of deal flow and a lot of interest in buying and selling. So that I see that continuing into 2024 as well. Another part of Stratmore, interestingly enough, they've got this quote secret shopper program, and it sounds kind of corny, but it's not. It's a very interesting take on what are your loan officers telling borrowers, and is it a uniform message? Is what management wants loan officers to be doing actually getting done? And so Stratmore has this secret shopper program where they will, be in touch with loan officers and hear what their pitch is or what their initial conversations are like, and then tally all that up and report back to management. And that's actually really taken off. Because management does want to have a consistent message out there, whether they are loan officers or account executives, or if you're a vendor, is your sales staff all kind of saying the same thing? And what is it that they're saying? And do we need to tweak it? So that part of Stratmore has taken off. But I'd say the overriding thing is, you got the M&A stuff and you got the secret shopper stuff, but just helping companies try to look at metrics and realize how important they are. So, we've got Melissa and Terry's Mortgage, and Melissa's and Terry's Mortgage. You guys have 25 branches out there, and there's one branch that the branch manager comes to you and says, well, we were approached by fill in the blank, some other larger company or different company, and we're thinking about making a move, and I really like it here at Melissa and Terry's Mortgage, but ... Well, the management now, in the past, it was like, oh my gosh, we can't lose a branch. We don't want to lose that branch. Now, management has become much more sensitive to the metrics of that branch or that region. And the same thing with vendors. Oh my gosh, I don't want to lose that AE. Well, if you dig into the numbers, it might show that branch or that account executive or that region might be losing you money or breaking even. Or maybe that branch accounts for 50% of the company's renegotiations or extensions, or has half of the loan officers from that branch have no loans in their pipeline. I mean, the ability to look at metrics. So Stratmore is very involved right now in looking at and helping companies look at the metrics. Maybe it's okay to lose that branch. Maybe it's okay that loan officer goes somewhere else because that branch or that loan officer wasn't making you money. Whereas in the past, it was knee-jerk reaction was, we don't want to lose that volume. Well, maybe that volume is actually costing you money, or maybe that region is costing you money. So Stratmore, I would say, has been very, very busy helping companies look at that. And whether or not you would use Stratmore or not, I see management teams elsewhere who are really digging into the numbers and seeing how important they are and trying to figure out if it's okay to lose that person or that branch. So I think we'll see much more of that in 2024 as well.
So you actually gave us 2, which is fantastic because I was off in my numbers. We didn't have 3 left. We actually had 4 left. So we watching for M&A. And then watch your team and watch your metrics. Those are two fantastic things that will help you to do more in 2024. And then Terry, I wanted to chat with you a little bit because one of the things, particularly, your success in your career over the years, but also some of the things you've had to do in order to truly be an Ironman. You've really had to kind of dig in and set some very specific goals for you. And that process of goal writing is not necessarily as simple as just saying, hey, I want to be an Ironman. It's not just I wake up tomorrow and I'm like, hey, I'm going to be an Ironman and I go out and run a race tomorrow or those sort of things. I think I'd love for you to maybe talk about with everybody some of the ways that you see goal setting and some of the things you've done to kind of set yourself up for success in the past.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
how to do more in
Wow.
2020.
To really unpack that, it takes about an hour, and probably need to lay on someone's sofa, because anyone that wants to take on a 140-mile race over 11 or 12 hours is borderline insane. But not speaking directly about Ironman, but just goal setting. In general, I have this deep belief and philosophy that whatever you write down, it has to excite you, and it has to be so inspiring that you're not willing to give it up. So I think that's why I want to lose 10 pounds by June 30th of 2024 rarely is there, because we have the Christmas treats and all the other, toffee and great meals, and we don't want to give up that. But it's whatever one recognizes as the goal and the purpose to get there that's it. But you have to start small. When I first started Ironman training, literally, I couldn't run, even though I ran track in high school, which was a gazillion years ago. I couldn't run 3 miles without stopping. I couldn't swim a mile in the pool without swimming the breaststroke. So I had to work on technique. I had to work on lung capacity. I had to work on this thing here to get me through. And I think the same thing is true in business. Have a goal, have a purpose, establish a plan. It's okay to pivot if things aren't working ideally, but as long as you're on that plan and you're making 2 millimeter progress every day, or relentless forward progress, you'll get there. So if you're a 5 handicap in golf and your goal is to be scratch or a 0, it takes more than playing 18 holes once a week, right? You got to get to the range. You got to get your body in shape. You got to have the passion and the time and the room to do it. So whatever it is, it's write it down, work on the small steps that'll get you there, and then reassess and pivot.
I think, well, for me, the gap between like a 5 handicap and somebody that's a scratch golfer is very little compared to where my handicap is. So that to me is like, those are like little goals. They're like,
No,
wake
actually,
up one morning, you're like, you know what, I'm going to shoot hard today. That'll be fine.
Actually, to make that move, Melissa, it's much easier to move from 22 to 12 than it is to 3 or 4 to 0.
I don't know. All right. Well, to wrap us up here, our 12th thing to do more in 24, I'll kind of pull a little bit on some of the things that Rob was mentioning earlier, as well as you, Terry, and sharing some of the things that you've shared, is really seek to add value. Wherever you're at, seek to make sure that you're adding value to those around you, whether that be your internal team, whether that be your referral partners, whether that be other folks in the industry. Having the opportunity to add value to others can really help you to continue to grow. In 2024, it's a lot of the things that TMC is working on. With some of our kind of solution sprint, stuff that we've had in our conference. And so I thought that would be a great way to kind of end our 12 things to, and I'll type these up for everybody that's a part of here and actually send it out to you guys so you can kind of see it all. Because I didn't go in the order that was here, and I missed a couple of numbers. And so just wanted to make sure everybody had it. But I thought that was a great way to kind of wrap up everything, is to kind of continue to seek to add value to all of those around you in 2024. All right. Well, I know I talked about the solution sprint a little bit. I also talked about the fact that this was going to be a very special kind of 12 days of TMC version of the rundown. And we talked a little bit about the market. We talked a little bit about some of the things that you can do from a sales and marketing perspective and from a personal kind of growth perspective to round out the year and help set yourself up for success in 2024. But I want to dig into some of the exciting things that have happened with 12 days of TMC, and then we'll get things wrapped up and announce our winners for our solution sprint. As y'all know, we do a virtual conference every year. We call it the 12 Days of TMC. It's equal parts fun and kind of fantastic content. And in spirit of our competition today, you can see kind of, I'm going to show everybody my sweater. You can see the top version here, but it actually says "You better slay" for those of you that can't see the whole thing. And it really is about encouraging kind of competition within our network, and wanted to share a little bit about what's going on. The 12 Days of TMC has had our biggest year ever. We had over 3,500 registrants involved, and it's been pretty fantastic for us this year. One of the things that we have done a little differently is that we actually created a solution sprint, our first ever solution sprint. And what that is basically is we divided up some of our interested registrants into groups that could tackle some of the industry's biggest challenges. And these teams came together to solve some pretty big problems. And I want to take a moment to kind of walk through each of the teams and as well as what their problem statement was that we gave them. The first team was called Team Sure, like S-U-R, Sherlock Holmes. And this team was led by Mike Metz at VIP Mortgage. I know, Rob, in punny nature, it was fantastic. So Sherlock Holmes, their problem statement was, how might we increase day one certainty and AIM utilization without increasing the cost of origination? The second team was called the Effective Collective, which is pretty fantastic. That was led by Ira Selwyn at US Mortgage Corporation. And their problem statement was, how might we improve operational efficiency to give customers what they expect and keep our teams at their highest and best use? They designed a process that allowed for a consistent 10-day cleared or a 10-day close, which is pretty amazing. The last one was Team Inventory Creators, which was led by Jamie Modern at DocuTech. And their problem statement was, how might we create solutions that maximize opportunities to connect homebuyers with available inventory in each of the markets that we serve? So really big industry challenges that most of our kind of mortgage friends are trying to tackle in one way, shape, or form. And they gave a fantastic presentation pitch to our panel of judges, but we also let our audience vote on which of those solutions would be most impactful to their business.
What was Mike Metz's team name again?
It was Sherlock Holmes.
That reminds me of that. The other day I walked up to a friend's house. Quick aside, don't worry. Quick aside. Walked up to a friend's house, and the friend had a this big round Christmas thing on their door, green, and it was made out of $100 bills. And I said, "What is that?" And she said, "Oh, that's Aretha Franklin's."
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Anyway, go on, Melissa. Sorry to interrupt with that.
I love it. That was perfect. It's like equal parts Christmas and fantastic puns at the same time. All right. So before we announce actually our winner of the solution sprint, I want to announce a couple of competitions that we had going on during the 12 days of TMC and those winners. We had a photo contest, and the winner of that photo contest in Hoova actually gets a $100 Amazon gift card. And that winner is Anna Felker at First Trust Bank. Congratulations, Anna. We also had a LinkedIn photo contest, and that also gets a $100 Amazon gift card. And the winner of that is Greenway Mortgage Funding. Congratulations, Greenway. We had a Hoova Leaderboard, and Hoova, by the way, is the platform that we use. For those of you that are not registered for 12 days, is the platform we use for our event. Our Hoova Leaderboard, which is the person that's been the most engaged and active throughout 12 days, also gets a $100 Amazon gift card, and one person actually gets a free Louisville registration. So we have for the $100 gift card winner, we have Jessica Zentz at Landmark National Bank. Jessica, you were everywhere. It was fantastic to see all the ways that you were active in 12 days. Thank you so much for your participation. The winner of our free conference registration for our Louisville conference coming up in March is actually Kelly Haney of Mortgage Financial Services. So Kelly, congratulations. And thank you for all that you have done over these past 12 days. It's been a lot of fun. Okay, you guys ready for the Solution Sprint winners?
I'm ready.
I'm so excited. Can you tell? We had I'm going to start with the runner-up, and I'll tell you, it was a very close, second place battle. So we had I'm looking at it real quick. I'm literally getting in the results as we're on here, so bear with me for a second. The second place winner was Effective Collective. And congratulations, Effective Collective. That was the group led by Ira Selwyn, who tackled creating that 10-day close I talked about. So creating operational efficiencies to give customers what they expect and keep our teams at their highest and best use. Fantastic job. Y'all did a fantastic presentation. And then for our winner, oh, and by the way, the team Effective Collective, each person that participated in that team gets a $50 Amazon gift card. So those of you that have not wrapped up your Christmas shopping yet, this may be a good way to get that extra that extra gift you were waiting for. Okay, and then our winner of our Solutions Sprint was our inventory creators team led by Jamie Modern at DocuTech. They tackled the solution of maximizing opportunities to connect homeowners with available inventories in the markets that we serve. They actually get a $100, everybody that participated in that team gets a $100 Amazon gift card. These teams spent so much time on these solutions, and it was so much fun to watch. They had some really great ideas that came out of it. We will summarize them all for our network. If you are outside the network and would be interested in getting the list, just shoot me a note and we can have a conversation about it. Terry and Rob, thank you for being patient as I got through the last section here, but just wanted to say thank you guys for participating today. It's been a fun conversation, and thank you for letting me be a little bit cheesy with our 12 ways to do more in 2024. I appreciate y'all's input and insight into not only what we could do personally, but also professionally to set us up for success next year.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah. And we have a show next Friday.
And we have a show next Friday as well. So look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
Terry, thank you for joining us.
Good to see you. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy New Year.